Sag, hello, Amanda here. Welcome to the Unseen Hands Collective. This is going to be your February shift tarot reading, looking at the shape you're shifting out of, the shape you're shifting into this month, and what that shape shift looks and feels like. Sag, before we get going in your cards, the image that's coming to me for you is a snake unhinging its jaw, which feels related to your January shift message, which was like Sag has something to say. So that's an interesting correlation about opening the mouth, unhinging the jaw. But specifically, there was something about a release intention. You know, like I felt like opening the jaw that wide would be some sort of release. It also, of course, brings up images for me of like, if a snake is unhinging its jaw, it's to swallow something quite large. And swallowing something that large would be something that would sustain them for a long time, like a pretty large animal, relative to the snake's size, of course, would need time to digest and sit inside of them. It would probably like ground them for a long time. But they could potentially live off of that for what, like 4 or 6 months? So it's big, whatever this is that you're wrapping yourself around here. So here's what I'm seeing in the cards. We're using the Slow Holler Tarot for your shift this month. And you're shifting out of the 8 of Stones and into the 9 of Stones. So it's almost like you're putting the cherry on top of something that you are accomplishing. You know, that's why it feels like you're almost there. It's like just one more move, just one more push, and you're almost at the top. You're almost over some sort of hump, or you've almost completed something that you are building. And of course, the 9s are a sort of almost energy. And you have another 9 here in the center of your shift. This is what your shift looks and feels like. We've got the Student of Branches, which is the Page of Wands. It's very much your energy. We've got the 9 of Wands, also your energy, and then the Sun card. To me, again, the 9 of Wands here is an energy of almost. It's an energy that can evoke feeling quite exhausted, feeling quite tired, maybe whatever this is that you are endeavoring this month, from the 8 to the 9, it's taken a lot out of you. You know, maybe it's something that you've been working on for some time and it's just really taken it out of you. It's just like, oh my gosh, can I make it up this last push? Can I lift this last stone and put it in place? Yeah, you definitely can, and I think you're going to, Sag. So there's this really wonderful sense of completion. I also love how one through line that me, Kevin, and Kelsey here in the collective are realizing for fire signs is that they are all moving into some sort of earth energy. So this is something perhaps very tangible and physical in your physical environment that you are working with or creating, building, or accomplishing. And whatever that is, I think it's really helping you come into a strong sense of yourself, or maybe even a new sense of yourself. You know, this 9 of Stones along with the Sun card feels really accomplished to me. It feels like a proud moment. Like, wow, I really did something big here for myself. I've put myself in a really good position. That's kind of what it feels like. Whatever this is definitely worth celebrating. You know, it's like if you're the snake who swallowed this big prey, it's like, oh yeah, that's good. Now I can rest for 6 months. You know, it's like, okay, I've done something really, really big. I've hunted and found the thing that's going to feed me for a long time. And now I can just let myself relax into it a little bit. You know, it's like this goat at the top of the mountain here. It's let yourself enjoy the fruits of your labor. Let yourself blossom and unfold in this high position or in this high ground. Because interestingly, the Student of Branches is telling me this is only the beginning. Here's that Sag energy. You know, Sag, always thinking forward, always off to the next thing, always thinking about what's next. The student of branches is laying the first plank in this bridge that they are building. This really reminds me of what Kevin has been talking about on your shift scope. So for those of you who don't know, this is only 1/3 of your February shift energy each month. I do the tarot portion. Kevin loops in the astrology with your astroscope. It's like a podcast for you to integrate the planet energy. And then Kelsey takes all of this insight and puts it into a guidebook for you. It's basically like a workbook for you to use throughout the month as your own personal tool. Okay, that's the full collective shift offering on unseenhandscollective.com. That's how you access that. I just want you to get the full picture. You know, this is only 1/3. And so part of what Kevin has been talking about in her shift scopes for Sagittarius is this idea of coming into the present. And all of this earth energy, Sag, I think is really calling you into the tasks at hand. It's asking you to rein in your mind a little bit, which again, always wants to kind of project into the future or like forward think, and really saying, okay, but how does this experience feel right here, right now, where you are? Let yourself lean into that. Let yourself feel the fullness. That, which then reminds me of that snake having just eaten something huge. It's like, let yourself feel that fullness, because you eat something that big, you're not going anywhere for a minute, you know? Let yourself rest and digest and do all of those like earthy, it sort of reminds me, for you astrology people out there, like it really reminds me of the 6th house energy, which, you know, is Virgo energy. And here we have Sun in Virgo card. So it is like really lean into your physical experience, tend to your body, start to develop a rhythm in the everyday, and like lean into that mundane magic of like enjoying the daily human life and the magic that can be found there in the present. Being present with yourself, you may discover a new part of yourself. But yeah, this is just the beginning of something you've started that has much larger implications. So I'm excited to see how this plays out in the extended reading. I'm going to pull more cards now and see if we can hash out like what exactly this is that you've just accomplished or are almost accomplishing, and what the long-term implications of that are for you. Like what have you just set in motion for yourself, and how does that help you come into yourself more and more? So Sag, if you'd like to follow me over to the extended reading now, where we really get into this, you can go to unseenhandscollective.com, where you can find that extended in the shop as well as in the Zodiac Shift monthly membership. Okay, Sag, thanks for being here. Happy February. We'll talk soon. Thing that came through the collective discussion is like, I was imagining that if you're looking ahead and your focus is always on like that, what you're moving towards, you run the risk of laying these boards, these planks haphazardly. And then when you actually go to cross, it's not a stable structure for you to move across, you know, because like your eyes were on that horizon and not present with what you're actually doing. So there's a real shift in focus, I think. And that's been like maybe a really like a strong personal development for you, like a real maturity that you've come into recently to realize like, okay, the more I'm present with what I am doing right here, right now, the stronger my structures are going to be that are going to actually take me on my big adventures, like take me where I want to go.
Using your knowledge, being able to put it to use, and really taking it in and understanding what it is that you know. Okay, because that's the South Node in your first house. This is the other part of the truth about you, is that you get to become. It's a really interesting thing, Sag energy, because Sag energy is both the student and the master. And if you're perpetually seeking, that makes you a perpetual student. It's only when you can come back and apply what you know and apply what you've learned and speak it to people and communicate it to people and actually embody it and live it, that you then master what you've learned. You've mastered